Hey there, it's Daniel once again. You're back. I'm back. It's Drummer Daily, and I'm so happy to be doing this with you. Hey, this is episode number 174. I haven't mentioned that for a few episodes, but there is a show number for every single one of these episodes, and you can always kind of find this episode on my website by just going to danielhadaway.com/the show number. So in this case, it would be danielhadaway.com/174. You can check that out. All right, so today I want to talk to you about vision and having vision specifically for the drum parts that we play. So this is all about playing drums, and mostly when we find ourselves in professional situations, although this definitely applies in any situation that you're playing with a band or playing with other people. And it's about having a vision for the end result of what you want to play. So let me just give you a few examples of how this plays and what this means. All right, so when I go into a live or a studio situation where I've been hired to play drums, and I might be coming in and they're going to ask me to create something new. So for example, this might be like if I'm going to play at church or something and we're going to play a song, but we want to do our own spin on it. How would I come up with something new and creative for that drum part? Or in the studio, of course, I'm recording something that's original and new. I'm going to have to come up with something that way as well. Well, of course, the first thing most of us are going to do as drummers is we're going to try to think of the kind of the bass pattern that can support the song. And that's definitely true of what I would do as well. But pretty quickly after I get that bass pattern kind of at least decided as a first go around, knowing that of course all of this is going to change as soon as a music director or a producer or someone gets involved, but I quickly move on to trying to build out the little nuances and the extra little pieces of it. So is there a little soft 16th note pattern going underneath a more bombastic big pattern? Is there some kind of like smooth kind of 16th note pattern? Are there little random upbeat accents, on the ands of certain notes on the closed hi-hats? Or is there a really cool short little kick and snare fill that comes in at the end of every two bars or something like that? All these little nuances and pieces that you might want to be there. I try to develop a vision for what all of that could sound like and or what all of that might be. Now, when I'm in the studio, I also start developing a vision for maybe there's a shaker or a tambourine here or there. There's other little percussion parts, all kinds of things like that. And I actually start developing a vision for where all that might fit as well. Now, once I have that vision, the next step in using that vision to support a song and again, do something that might get us hired back more and more, that makes the producer or the music director happy, is I need to make sure that I understand where my drumming is going to play a part and fit in with that overall rhythmic vision that I have. And let me tell you what I mean. When you're playing live and it's just you, there's not a percussionist or anybody else, it's pretty straightforward. It's whatever I come up with creatively, that is going to be what I need to play, right, on the drums. So obviously, whatever I think of. If there's little upticks on the hi-hat or there's little cool little other things going on, I need to play it all physically and be able to play it all physically right there as I sit there. But so that's pretty straightforward. But in the studio, we have the luxury and the ability to, do multiple takes and do multiple tracks of different parts. So I don't have to play every single rhythmic element in my drumming. And this is something I see a lot in drummers who don't have much experience in the studio. When they have that, they might have that vision for what they want to play, but they try to play it all in the take, so to speak, right there on the spot as they play it. So there might be soft cymbal swells in certain parts of the song, but you're playing with drumsticks right now, but you'll still try to do those cymbal swells. Well, in the studio, you don't do that. You leave those things out because you know you can come back later with those soft mallets and do those cymbal swells. Or you don't hold a shaker most of the time in one hand, and then hold a drumstick in the other hand to play the snare drum. And play the shaker at that point. You play all of the drums with both hands, and then you go back later and you add the shaker, or you add that drum loop, or you add that really cool random percussion element that you have. You're dropping a bunch of keys in a box or whatever the sound is. But you have to have that vision for what that end result can be. and then play along with that in mind and leaving things out when you're actually doing a take in the studio. So you leave space basically for your future takes is a better way of putting that. Now, the other key to this, no matter what situation you find yourself in, is being able to effectively communicate that to the person who's producing or the artist or whoever's in charge of that session. Because what you don't want to do is have this vision in your mind for what the finished product might sound like with all these extra rhythms added in, but not tell anybody. And then you go through and do your simplified first take where you leave all this space for other drum parts to come in, but no one else knows that, and they think, man, this is really missing something. This is kind of uninspiring. And honestly, objectively, the actual opposite is true. You actually have a very inspired idea that you're going to create. It's just going to take a little time. But if you haven't told that to anybody, or communicated that to anyone, they're not going to understand that, and they might move on to more ideas before you've given them a fully developed idea. So the other part of it is communication. You've got to communicate that vision once you have it. And again, you can't be too forceful or too emotionally married to the idea of whatever it is you came up with, because most likely it's going to change. So you don't want to get your feelings hurt and kind of lose your momentum. But if you can develop a vision for a final part on the drums in a creative situation and then communicate that to others, you're going to be well on your way to providing something that not many drummers are able to provide, which again will set you apart as a professional drummer and will greatly increase your chances of getting hired again and again and making a name for yourself in your own music community as a drummer. So I hope that helps you. I hope that inspires you. And we'll talk again really soon on Drummer Daily. Bye for now.